button.
All right.
All right, so I guess I'll go ahead and get started, man. So the reason I'm doing this today, Jammie, like we was talking about, first off, appreciate you being here. You know what I'm saying? Talking to me, spending your time. I feel like one, to go back to that, that's extremely important to me. So I really do appreciate it, man. This time we're gonna spend here, we're not gonna get it back, man. So I definitely hope that, you know what I'm saying, you get something out of it, I get something out of it, and I'm just looking forward to a chance to know you better. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully something that you say sparks something in somebody else, even if it's just one person. You hush. You know what I'm saying?
That was girl.
There they go. There they go. There they go. So real quick, man, let me just go ahead and introduce, you know what I mean, first off, introduce you, man. I'm talking to Jammie Young. She is a mother of 2 boys. She is a Navy vet. She earned her bodybuilding pro card through OCB at her first pro competition or amateur competition?
Amateur.
At her first amateur bodybuilding competition, earned her pro card back in 2019. She placed second in the Catonsville Conquer women's physique division back in 2021. And in 2022, she conquered the Conquer. She came in first. She beat the woman who beat her the year before, showing that she can't be stopped and she can't be held down, and she's here today. And, you know, I just want to say, one, that was one of the most awesome things when I heard that, because it's just cool to know you. You know what I'm saying? It's always been cool to know you.
That's what's up, Khalil.
It really has. It really has just been cool to know you. I remember when I feel like I have more memories of I don't know if I want to say more memories, but like I feel like I'm in this place in life that like genuineness sticks out to me because I see a huge lack of it. One of the most genuine things I ever saw was, I remember when we first got Raina, and you had saw her, and you know, she's this big, rough looking, and a lot of people think she's a male dog. So a lot of people will go, oh, he's so, and I think you had said something like that. And I was like, nah, you know, she's a girl, you know what I mean? Her name's Raina, it means queen. And you curtsied and was like, oh, excuse me, queen. And you like curtsied at her. And you know what I mean? You got low, and you were coming from work, and you were like dressed up, and you got low, and you know, you just let her come up and give you love. And it was like, you know, you were dressed like, you know, you had just left the office or were going to the office, one of the two, and it didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, you know, you let a dog, you let an animal, and the conditions behind that weren't stopped in that moment. That was just cool to me. You know what I mean? That was cool to me. So if you don't mind me asking, man, I feel like, you know, I would like to go back because I don't know that much. What was growing up like for you? Where did you grow up?
So I'm originally from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. I guess you could say it was a middle class family, 2-parent household. Both my parents worked. Growing up, child, I had some trauma. I don't want to get into it. You know, I moved past it and whatnot. Nothing my parents did. One of my parents, I had like I had the best parents in the world. And my mom taught me how to love, and my dad taught me discipline, you know, just so to speak. And then I ran track in high school. So I was, I tell people all the time, I was known, but not popular. You know, a lot of people knew me as Mr. Bell's daughter because my dad taught art in the high school. So they were like, that's Jammie. Who? You know, Mr. Bell's daughter. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right.
You know, went to college for a little bit. Wasn't really for me. Ended up marrying my high school sweetheart, which he was a Marine at the time.
Okay.
And lived in Italy for a little bit. You know, came back to North Carolina, and then moved on to Virginia. And I've been here since 2003 because I joined the Navy in 2003. Yeah, we had to leave Italy after 9/11. And he got stationed in Cherry Point. That's in Havelock, North Carolina. Okay. Then, so yeah, been here ever since. Ever since then.
But what did you run in? What was your event when you ran track?
I did 4x1, 4x 2 relay. I did long jump as well. So yeah, I was always ran first and third leg.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I got you. And as far as the Navy, once you got into that, what made you go into the Navy? Why the Navy?
We were having some financial difficulties.
Yeah.
So he was like, you gotta go in the Navy or the Air Force. I'm like, what? I was 23 at the time. So I was like, what? No, but yeah. So did that to help with our finances. I don't regret it. There are some things I wish would have went differently. If I known then what I know now, I probably would apply myself a little bit better. I was just trying to get through it, basically.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't want to quit. I'm not a quitter, so I was just like, let me just do what I got to do.
Well, I know that you said that your father taught you discipline.
Mm-hmm.
So in that, when you were going through the Navy, how much did that play out? You know what I mean? Like how much did that play out in doing the thing that?
So it's, me, I was a hard-headed child, basically. So whenever my parents told me not to do, I do it anyway.
Yeah.
So in the Navy, can't do that.
Right.
So but at the same time, I really did have a somewhat problem with authority, but I found out later the reason why my RPO, my RDO, recruit division officer, she's a second class. I'll never forget her name, Tracy Adjup. I will never forget her.
Okay. Okay. Never forget Tracy.
No, she gave me the hardest time. Like literally, she picked on me. She talked about me. She put me down. Every time somebody did something, I got blamed for it because I was the master. When she found out what my job was going to be in the Navy, she dubbed me master at arms. So everybody anything that got supposed to get done didn't get done. I got blamed for it. And the week we were supposed to graduate, she just decided to fire me. Before we were supposed to run battle station, she just decided to fire me over no reason and gave it to some other girl that don't even she was like, Jammie, I'm sorry. I was like, it ain't your fault. It had nothing to do with you. That's her. And my grandmother told me people that talk about you and put you down are jealous of you. So here she is in her 40s.
Yeah.
Seeing this vibrant in her prime 23-year-old. I wasn't as built defined as I am now, but I did have muscle then.
Right.
And there was no other female that had my physique, that had my body type.
Right.
So yeah, she was hating.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I was thinking about that. I was thinking about something like that the other day. When I was a kid, my dad used to ask me, he used to ask me all the time, and I'm still, well, honestly, I'm developing my answer, but he used to ask me all the time, like, do I think it would be worse to be a has-been or never was? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I was young, that's a question that old people ask. Well, I don't know if you heard it, but an older person asked. And it really doesn't make no sense to me. It didn't make any sense to me then. You know what I mean? But as I get older and I played football growing up, and I had a football coach who appreciated me on the field, but I was hard-headed. You know what I mean? I really wanted my way with stuff. And when I played the game, I was a captain, all that stuff. I almost never left the field. I worked hard. But in school, I acted up. I did what I wanted to do. I had a little quote unquote fame, you know what I mean? So, I kind of I played out the position of just being a football player and all of that stuff as much as I could, you know what I mean? I kind of wanted to have he didn't like me. He told me flat out that he loves me during the football season, but after that, he's gonna do anything he can to get me out of the school. And I gave him a few things to work with, but I didn't really give him that much because I graduated. And but I didn't realize, and I wasn't told that I've been short my whole life. I've been 5, whatever I am, 7 or whatever I am, my whole life. but I played line my whole life. I played offensive, defensive line. I played linebacker, stuff like that. But mainly I played line on both sides. I was second team WCAC as far as like for offensive line and defensive MVP. I played against some people who, if I went back to go get their names, they're probably playing in the NFL now, or they probably had their shot, but they definitely went to play in college. But I didn't know that I was too short to play the position at the next level. You know what I mean? For as
Okay.
far as like D1 and D2, not mattering how tall I am, just in general, for a line to go like this, that
Mm-hmm.
wasn't that wasn't the
Yeah.
look they were going for. So just in
Mm-hmm.
general, I was out of it. And then, you know, a huge part of it was me, but that was when my football career ended. You know what I mean? And it was a struggle. It was a struggle not having that no more. You know what I mean? Like as a thing to identify with no more. And there's often like I find myself in this place. Like personally, I haven't grown. I wasn't taught to be jealous. So I didn't grow up wanting what other people had. I grew up being proud of the people around me's success. You know what I
Right.
mean? I never really looked at somebody else's and gone, oh, why do they got that and I don't have that, or this, that, and the third. And it's not to say that I grew up rich or any of that stuff. That wasn't the case. I just grew up being okay with what I had. You know what I mean? Um, but also I recognized when I lost that thing, that part of football, I wanted that. And now I have a story that I tell Hutch that I can tell about it that is either based in what I was able to do and
Mm-hmm.
also based in what I wasn't capable of doing. And I recognize that like a lot of people, they never reached the thing that they wanted to get to. You know what I mean? They never reached the thing that
Yeah.
they wanted to get to. And when we see a lot of people, when they see like somebody else, either their potential or them actually doing the thing that they never got to, a lot of those people, even myself, I could have found another way around going to college. You know what I mean? And going to college and playing football and taking it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's easier for some people to find to look at you as like the outlet for their own disappointment in themselves. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that thing about those who can't teach and all that. It's always it sucks when we end up in this place where the people who are supposed to be setting the tone and leading us and being the example are actually anti us because there's something that's lacking in them. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? So it sucks that was the experience for you. But after that, going through basically and finishing, what was your career like in the Navy?
I was a MP, which is a police officer, military police officer, but
Okay,
I
okay.
also did security. So, excuse me. So I would stand at the gate all night and check IDs, people coming in off the installation. That's basically what I did 24/7.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true that. A cousin, a family member of mine, he was an MP. He was stationed all over Germany and all that stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
remember, I don't know if you've seen or read any of the Jack Reacher books, but Jack Reacher talks about the difference between police officers and military police. The difference is everybody who you're watching and taking in control of, depending on where you're at, are also trained killers. You know what I mean? Or people who are trained to do a lot of violence. So I feel like, first off, thank you for your service. I apologize for not even
No,
speaking to
you're
that. I wanted to speak to it. I made sure to put that in there because I know that, and even listening to your reason behind it, like there was a lot of sacrifice that you had to do just to get that,
good.
and I respect the hell out of it. You know what I mean?
Thank you. I
I
appreciate
respect the
that.
hell out of it, and I think that like it translates, your ability to do that. Like, how much did your ability to step up in that place and sacrifice for your family? How much of that inner strength and character do you think that translates to get into this place that you're number one, standing up and lifting that trophy?
um, I just have to go back to having that mindset, that discipline, because I'm not gonna lie. In boot camp, they try to
Right.
they try to get up. They got in here a lot. They literally tried to. I'm pretty sure it's different now, but back when I was in, they literally tried to break you, like literally your mindset. They had to make sure that you was truly in your right mind. Not saying that in a negative way, but it's because they didn't know where we was going. They know we was going as comebacks or whatever that, or we were going to just be, just chilling in the band somewhere. You never know. So we literally have to be in that mindset and we can take anything that's going to come at us. Always expect the unexpected. So, when I was in prep, even though Conqueror was my 5th show, I've been competing for 3 years. I did 2 amateur shows. Oh, sorry, excuse me. And 3 pro shows. But Conqueror was my first place win, but my second payout. And I had got a new coach. My first coach was awesome. He the one that got me started in this. But my coach now, she was literally on me like my RDOs in boot camp. Mm-hmm. He held me accountable. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, this is real. So like I said, this was my first true prep, and it was my hardest prep because my other shows, I didn't have a second job. I wasn't getting up. I mean, I was working down in Quantico. So I had time to get up before to go to work to train. And then when I came home, I could train, But with Conqueror, I had a second job, So, and then I started working up at DC. So it was more challenging for me, even though we got 24 hours in the day. Some days I had to train for 3 hours, not all at one time, but I had to break it up. Mm-hmm. And when I say I'm going to bed at like 11:30 at night and getting up at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning to train. Yeah. And I found out a couple of years ago that sleep is the key to muscle recovery. Right. The fact that I was lacking all that sleep and still placed very well in the show. Right. I didn't know what was going on. Right. I remember my coach, she telling me, said, Jammie, you got to sleep. I said, you want me to sleep or you want me to do cardio? It's got to be one or the other. Right. Something's got to give. Something's got to give. I'm used to not getting sleep. That's any true competitor can tell you. What's the main thing you sacrifice when you in prep? Sleep. Right. So that I would say it was having that military mindset when I'm in prep, because it's like, when you sign that contract, you can't say I ain't gonna do it. I don't want to do it. Right. It's the same thing when you're in prep. You got to do it. It ain't no makeups. It ain't no I can do it later. You got to take advantage of every time, every minute, every second, every hour when you're in prep. Right. And that's not only with training, that's with food as well. Food is that's like 80% of like real. They say, when you're dieting or when you're trying to, lose weight, it's 80% nutrition, 20%, exercise. Same thing with prep. Right. Except with prep, it's 90% nutrition and 10% training. Right. So yeah, I literally have to make sure. And the thing is, the reason why I say this is my first true prep, because she could tell when I was doing extra snacking. Mm-hmm. She could literally tell, like, what have you been eating? Like, she was like 100. And this is why when I do my check-in, she'll come back 100% nutrition. Question mark, question mark, question mark. I'm like, how does she know? She was like, because she knows she knows her craft. She's an expert in it. She also used to compete herself. So right. She knows how her athlete's supposed to look. Right. She was like, Jammie, look, if you don't want to do this, I was like, I want to do it. She's like, well, if you're going to be serious about this, you have got to stop the extra snack. And I was right. Like, okay, I'm going to stop. Right. So our goal was in every show that you do, you want to look better than your last package. So the judges told me it was my legs. My upper body was never a problem. It was always my legs. I didn't have enough muscle definition in my legs, enough conditioning. So when she told me all of the extra snacking was going to my legs, okay, done and done. Right. No more snacking. And then within 2 weeks, I could see like she did like a comparison of my stage show, one of my stage photos, and then how I was like 3 weeks, like probably about a month out. I was just like, holy wow. Like, it's like, and she's like, yeah, I told you, you have got, she told me to stick to your nutrition. And I did it, but I was still kind of beating myself up because the times that I did cheat, I'm like, okay, I did beat out my last self, but is it enough to place first? That was my worry. That was my worry. I shouldn't have did all the extra snacking, and I would do like extra cardio to try to burn it off. Don't do that. That don't work. Work. If you just don't cheat, you ain't got to worry about doing no extra stuff, no extra work.
Right. You know, it's interesting. And we were talking before and listening to what you were saying, like, you know, you're a trainer, and what I was talking about, what I was thinking about, like, part of the reason why I love training is like I was talking about before, is it is deeper than just the physical. You know what I mean? Deeper than just the physical. Everything that you said is necessary to get to that stage, to hold up that that trophy and get those accolades. I feel like it's necessary in life as well. You know what I mean? Like, we need an aim. We need a purpose. We need something to draw to. We're going to pass the time anyway. We're going to give something up anyway. You know what I mean? We're going to give up our time. We're going to give up our effort. We're going to give up our money. We're going to give up something anyway. But my question would be, all the stuff that you gave up, imperfect to the plan or not, and sticking to the plan, discipline or not, the sacrifice, was it worth it to you?
Absolutely. Yep. 100%.
Absolutely.
It was.
I feel like you don't even need that pause. You know what I'm saying? I think that when we had our conversation, when you won and you came back talking about that trophy, that big old trophy that you got, you know what I'm saying? I don't think you need that pause. I think it's humbleness. I think there's a pause before you say, man, hell yeah, it was worth it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, like, I know that it comes with, like, when I think about, you know, translating it to life, man, we're going to sacrifice something. But if we know that the reason that we're sacrificing for, the reason that we're losing for, the reason we're going through this discomfort for, is for something that's true to us. You know what I mean? Something that we truly desire, that not even just the thing is the goal, the end goal is great, but I think that, you know what I mean, as hard as the work is along the way, we started to become in love with that work because we're working towards that thing. You know what I mean? We're working towards that thing, and it guides us and it keeps us grounded, and we need that. We need the direction. You know, and the rest of it becomes a tool. The hard stuff becomes not easy, but I want to say justified because it's purposeful. You know what I mean? It's like a purposeful sacrifice. So outside of bodybuilding, where do you apply the discipline and the strength that you get from that?
Outside of bodybuilding?
Mm-hmm.
You mean my other hats that I wear?
Yeah. How does it come into play? How do you think that what you get from that and what you need and has to be a part of you to complete that, how does it translate to you when you're not getting a trophy for it?
That I'm not getting a trophy for? I mean, I guess just having that sense of satisfaction that I did something. Mm-hmm. You know, just like my job, my full-time job, we had my coworker retired, and they're not backfilling her position. And then my other coworker, she left and got another job. So all the responsibilities fell on me. Mm-hmm. all the time, I still got to do what I was hired to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's literally like these past 3 weeks, actually probably about the second week of October was probably the last time I had a real, like I was able to go to the gym, not like every day, but consecutively.
Mm.
Between the second weekend in September and probably now, I probably went to the gym maybe like twice, you know, and I was getting upset. I was like, man, this is a bull, you know.
Right.
And then I have, you know, I work with military. They in the office going to the gym, and I'll just look at them like that.
Right.
But the thing is, my supervisor, he supports me in bodybuilding, but he's like, hey, you know, mission first. I was like, yep, mission first. I get it. I still have a job to do. Like,
Right.
yes, bodybuilding, you know, that's my passion. That's what I love to do. But I also have a job because I have 2 children I have to take care of. So I got to work to take care of my children. And funny story, I actually went to Yorton. I didn't compete, but I was helping out at the show as a vendor. And I had so many of my friends come up to me, why are you not doing the show? Why are you not doing the show? I want to see you upstairs. I want to see you up there. I want you to see you beat out so-and-so. I was like, look, I have a job. Like my duties, I literally couldn't do it. And then I got sick with COVID 1 week, you know, so that also I say, even if I was in prep, it wouldn't have been a good prep because my job, my duties took over. And I tell people, like, y'all have to understand, I'm a single mom.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my boys are very much independent. As long as I got food and Wi-Fi, they good.
Mm-hmm.
But they got me. You know, they you know, from a financial standpoint.
Right.
And I got a second job to help support, you know, my other expenses. I mean, the main reason why I got the second job was to help with the bodybuilding because people, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Like it's one of the first things I told my first coach. Say, Jammie, you got to compete. Man, I ain't got no money for no bodybuilding. Is you crazy?
Right.
Like seeing like what we do, but I just told myself I have to manage my finances, I have to manage my time.
Right.
And there are a few times that my body shut down because I pushed myself that hard. And my mom don't like me doing it because, you know, she's like, you got the boys, you got to take care of yourself. I understand. I got to take care of me. Got to take care of me. I get it. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, I benched. Well, I say my favorite exercise is deadlifting.
Okay.
It's like, okay, I deadlift 200. Can I get the 250?
Right.
All right, 250. Can I get, my goal is 300. Right now, I'm at 245. So,
okay.
You know, same thing with squatting. Squatting, I used to squat 150. I suffered an injury in my shoulder. So my goal is 200. So if I can squat 200, I'm good. With the bench press, my goal is 150 because I used to weigh 150. So, you know, I got goals and everything, but at the same time, I literally have to pace myself. Like I know what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, I'm not going to push myself too much because if I injure myself, that's going to cause more. And that was my biggest fear, Khalil, during prep is injuring myself.
Yeah.
Because there's no worse thing than you in prep and you got to stop because you hurt yourself or you broke something before or something. So, yeah. Did I answer your question?
It definitely does. It definitely does, man, because it comes down to that sacrifice. It comes down to that purpose and knowing why you doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? I think that you haven't picked easy routes, you know what I mean, with any of the things that I hear you doing. Nothing that you've chosen to do, whether it's track, whether it's even if it's not something that you wanted to do, whether it was track, whether whether it was the Navy, bodybuilding. It's not easy routes. And so in 10 minutes it's gonna make me click off here, so I'm about to come back. But you haven't picked easy routes, and I think it's all prepared you. You know what I'm saying? Like the amount of things that like kind of happen. I think tough people go through tough stuff because at some point God knows they're gonna have to be tough. You know what I'm saying? He knows you're gonna have to be strong. He knows you're gonna have to be able to I've always said to people, weightlifting is a crazy thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, when it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I have no reason to be able to do this. Like, I don't have a reason to pick up 400 pounds. Like, I don't need to do that. Life doesn't require it. But it prepares me and it gives me energy and strength to be able to put into those areas. But I have to suffer to get there. You know what I
Right.
mean? I have to suffer to get there. I have to suffer through the fear of even lifting the weight. What if I fail? What if my form sucks? What if I hurt myself?
Yeah.
What if I get stuck? What if I embarrass myself? You know what I mean? Every time I go to lift like a heavy weight, even if it's something that is a weight that I've lifted before,
Mm-hmm.
I get nervous. I feel my heart start fluttering.
Oh,
You know what I
really?
mean? Yeah, it's crazy. Like when I go to lift, like max wise, I think my max as far as deadlift is like it's 5 plates with 25s on the side, and then I put 2 10s on it the other day, and that's like so what's that like 495, 435, 455, something. I mean 555.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. That's my max, but 500 is like I can do that for like 2 3 sets of 2 and 3. But each time
Okay.
I go to start the set, I get this fluttering feeling in my chest. You know what I mean? Um,
Hmm.
but I also don't know. One of the things that I learned recently is that the same chemical response that happens with anxiety happens with anticipation. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
splitting the difference between anxiety being something a fear of an outcome and anticipation being excitement of an outcome. It feels
Okay.
the same. And
Mm-hmm.
anxiety freezes you though. You know what I mean? Anxiety freezes.
Oh.
And what moves me forward and when I'm in a place of anxiety is the knowledge of the reps that came before. You know what I mean? Of every rep
Mm-hmm.
that came before that. And like going back to what I was saying earlier is I look at working out as like, just life period, every tough thing that happens that we go through and we live through and we hopefully learn from it is our
Mm-hmm.
resume of our capability to do hard things. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
and remembering that is the thing that takes me out of anxiety into action. You know what I mean? Um, remembering my capability.
It's,
No problem. So so I think that that's the thing that like or it's necessary to know that I'm capable. But the only way I'm gonna figure that out is if I purposely choose hard things. You know what I mean? If I
yeah.
purposely choose hard things, because I know that I'm going to have to build to this. I'm going to have to build confidence and
Mm-hmm.
capability, skill and form and everything to this high. And all of that becomes a part of me.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Now you good. Now you fine. Um, so, you know, that goes back to why I appreciate and when I first saw you, you know what I mean? When you see somebody with the form and a physique, you recognize
Yeah.
that they're tough. That you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? That mentally they make themselves do things that is uncommon. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? So that says something about them. It says something about their dedication, their discipline. And, I think that all the way back to your father putting that discipline in you translates to every moment of your life to where when work is the weight is heavier than you should be carrying, you're
Yeah.
capable. You know what I'm saying? You may not
Yeah.
like it. You may not like it. You may not enjoy it, but you're
Mm-hmm.
capable because what your life has taught you is that it's possible and that it shall pass. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Um, I think knowing that is like for me, like a part of the reason why I do all this now is because I look at the world and I see the world like doing a lot that it can do to not do the hard thing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of parents not teaching that to their kids. You know what I mean? That the easy thing, the pleasurable thing
Mhm.
is more important than the character that you're gonna get from discipline and the character that you're gonna get from reaching for the hard thing. And it doesn't set them up for success in life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because everything's not going to be easy and everything's not going to make sense and everything's not going to be comfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But on the other side of it, what personally I can say that anything that's came to me that's easy, that I haven't had to work for, that I haven't had to struggle with and doubt myself about, even if just for a moment, I haven't held on to it long. And it hasn't had that much meaning to me. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I'm more proud of the moments that either I failed along the way to get there. You know what I'm saying? Because if I failed along the way to get there and I got to the end, that means that I learned. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It means that I learned. It means that I continued to face that fear and that
Yeah.
possibility of failure. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that brings me to you win, you place second place in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
2022, you're going into this competition. I remember you saying that. I don't remember if you said exactly how you said it, but you knew that the woman who beat you before was going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that going through your prep, or did you know that?
No, they don't give us a roster to the day before the show.
Okay,
So OCB has shows every Saturday.
okay,
So we don't get the roster until because we have to because we check in.
mm-hmm.
So we don't get the roster till Friday night or
Mm-hmm.
Friday day. So yeah. So
So
that's when I knew.
so when you find that out, what does that feel like to you? What do you feel?
How I initially felt,
Uh-huh.
I was like, man. I said literally, I said, she already won. Why is she coming back? Like
Right,
you won. Why are you
right,
coming back?
right.
But every competitor has a reason. They
Mm-hmm.
have every competitor and their coach, they decide what show they're gonna do, how they're gonna run their competition. So I was just like, you know what, Jammie, don't worry about it, because I was like, you know what? In my mindset, I say, in order to be the best, you have to beat the best. So
Yeah.
I say, okay, I gotta beat her. I just gotta beat her.
Right,
That was the mindset. I mean, we're all a good one big happy family, but when we on stage, it is a competition,
right.
you know.
So hold on. So I got a question, but I'm running out of minutes. So give me. I'm gonna shut this down. I'm gonna come right back to you. Okay.
Okay,
Give me just a
okay,
minute. All right.
okay, all right.
All right. Real quick, just to go back. So going to this competition. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean. Second place the year before. This week, I mean, this year, you come up, you see the roster, you see the woman that was there before. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean. So you're thinking like, all right, boom, why she got to be here? And you know, so that moment. So if you don't mind running back, so you see her name on there, you don't mind just refreshing. How does that feel to you?
So at first I was upset. I was like, you already did this. You won Yorton last year. You won Conqueror, and you won Yorton. So why are you back doing the show that you already won?
You say
You know?
Yorton's the big one, right?
Yeah, that's the
That's the
big
biggest
one.
one.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So the thing is, I I had to sit and thought. I had to sit and think. I said, okay, Jammie, this you don't know her reason why.
Mm-hmm.
You know your reason why.
Right.
And then I was like, well, for me to, like I said, if I to in every competition I go into, I have the mindset of I need to be better than I was the last time.
Mm-hmm.
So I accomplished that. But now I was like, is it enough to beat her?
Mm-hmm.
Because she won it last year. I came in second. I gotta get first. I gotta
Right.
get first. Like I said, I've already did that one hurdle. I beat up my last body. Okay, all right. But I was worried because I didn't think it was going to be enough to place first.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, and I started doubting myself. I started, just like, oh man, but my coaches, I love my coach. I call them my sister circle. It's like, Jammie, you got this. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about her. Don't worry about her. Just worry about you. Worry about you. I was like, I know, but.
Right. Those I know buts. Right.
Right. There are no buts. And like I said, I see myself in the mirror every day.
Right.
But when my training coach, when she did like the comparisons on like how I started, when I initially started with her,
right,
and then like how the months, how I progressed, and then when she did that one side by side between me and my show back in May and how I looked like a month out, I was just mind blown. I was just like, I couldn't, like, I was literally looking like, I know this is me, but I cannot believe this is me.
Right.
Like,
right.
I didn't know my body could look this damn good.
Right.
So, but the most humbling thing was when they called from last place to first. And they called her as second. And like I said, I was out there, I was backstage with two other ladies. I said, all right, ladies, good luck to you. They was like, and they literally both told me, what are you talking about? You got first. I was, and I'm just like, no, you don't know what the judges think.
Right.
And when the MC called my name and my number, I stood there for a minute.
Right.
And our expediter, Showtime, he's like, you did it. And I said, did I win? He's like, you won. So I was like in shock, like literally in shock.
Right.
Because because I started working, her name's Lisa. I started working with Lisa in June of 2021.
Is your trainer now?
That's my trainer now, yes.
Okay.
So from June to December, we built. Well, we was building muscle. Then
I remember seeing you just putting it on, yeah.
Right, putting it on. And then from January up until the show, we started cutting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when the true prep starts, because you're depriving your body of all these essential nutrients, no carbs, all this. I mean, Khalil, man, look. And the thing is though, when I put my body through that, I get migraines. I get migraines bad.
Yeah.
My first preps, I would get 1 migraine a month. I have high blood pressure, so I have to watch that as well.
Okay.
This prep, I was getting like 3 migraines a month. But I still pushed through, And I was getting worried. I was like, man, my body shut down. But there were days when my body said, like I said, doing my other preps, when I would still go to the gym and train, where my body was exhausted. Excuse me. But then it was shut down and I had to rest. But this prep, I literally listened to my body. I told my coach, I said, Lisa, I can't train today. My body won't let me. She was like, it's okay. Rest. You need that rest. And then, like I said, getting up, working, going to work, and then coming to the gym to work. And then I also have clients outside of the gym, trying to keep up with them. So all that time and my kids, man, I have the best boys in the world, because they know when I'm in prep. And then it's like sometimes like I get real mean. Like I become a mean mama. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. And I told them, I said, boys, mom's in prep. So if I snap or go off, please, it's only because my body's not. It's like, okay, mom, I said, so I need y'all to help me with the extra chores, and everything, just please do what I ask you to do. And it will be fine. Everything will be good. But I was afraid when I first started, if they would come to the like, mom, we miss you, mom, where are you? Mom, come home.
Right.
Mom, how was the gym?
Right.
When you going to the gym? Mom, I thought you was going to the gym. Dang, did you not want me at home? So it was all that leading up to like barely, like if I say I would barely see them, I will leave to go to work before they got up to go to school. Then I would come home, see them for a brief second, make sure that they got something to eat, and then go back out to the gym to train my clients here. So all of that, all the nights, the times that my body was shut down. Khalil, I think it was probably 2 weeks before. Yeah, it's like 2 weeks before the show, and it's 11:30 at night. I'm at the fitness center on the treadmill, freaking 11:30 at night on this treadmill doing just walking, and I had a come to Jesus moment.
Sorry, you say that again.
I had a come to Jesus moment.
Okay.
I said, Lord, this better be effing worth it, because I was just at that point. Like I was at that point. I was like, man, I'm so tired of this. So it was all that. It was that moment right there. I said, thank you, Jesus. Because I did it.
Yeah.
And then when I came out, she came out and she greeted me before I got up to the spot. And she said, congratulations, Jammie, job well done. And I had this ugly cry going on. I was like, thank you,
Yeah.
And that's what it was all about for her. And then we hugged again once we got our trophies and she got the crown. She gave me another hug. She was like, congratulations. I was like, thank you, and that meant a lot to me. That really meant a lot to me, especially coming from her, because in 2021, she was unstoppable. Yeah. She placed first in all of her shows in 2021.
Yeah.
That was a very humbling moment for me, for her to congratulate me like that. And I know people was like, I was like jumping up and down and everything. Most athletes just take it, they just thank you and go on. But I had to let people know, look, y'all don't know what I went through with this prep.
Right.
Most athletes, they have a significant other, or they're just by themselves. Like me, I tell people all the time, I'm not saying this to show off, but I do everything by myself. Thankfully, I have really good friends that help sponsor me some of my shows. Because if it wasn't for me having a second job, the first few shows I couldn't afford it with my salary. I had people help me out.
Right.
Right. So, but I just thank God for my kids. Like I say, if anything, if it starts affecting them, I will quit. My kids would be the only reason why I would quit bodybuilding.
Right.
They say, Mom, you're doing too much. We miss you. We need you at home. Then I will stop. Temporarily. I'll put them back.
Right. Fill that cup a little bit more.
Right. I was like, what? I'm not gonna compete this year. I'm gonna pay my dues.
Right.
Make sure that because my kids come first. My kids come first. And another thing with with relationships, man, it can put a stress in your relationship. You don't have that person that supports you 110%. They don't understand. Like it's better if you have somebody with the same mindset as you, not necessarily a bodybuilder, but this is some type of fitness or an athletic industry. They do something.
Absolutely.
If they don't have that in them already, and they understand you always at the gym, or you always doing this, that could cause some stress too.
I think if they don't have, obviously, you know what I'm saying, the fitness, the connection is there. I think if they don't have a thing, period, you know what I mean? If they don't have like, not just like a goal that, you had a goal, but you also knew that and you had the steps and you had guidance on them steps, and you knew that this goal was realistic, but it was going to take all of this, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you accepted that challenge. I think that, like, when you think about just talking about that relationship part, like having somebody, if they have a goal, and they haven't went and figured out the steps, it's not real for them. They haven't went and figured out the steps and then decided to commit to that, it's not real to them. And you know what I mean? You could end up in that place where, one, they don't have a thing that they're putting steps into, so they don't understand the sacrifice. You know what I mean? So all that they may see is your focus going somewhere else, and they don't understand it. And they haven't had, if they have it and they answered the call and they haven't answered the call, you run this risk of them feeling inferior and less. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's it is necessary that when you're reaching for great things meaning that it's gonna be tough as hell, and I may do all of this and I may not make it. You know what I'm saying? Like at along any point of that, an injury, body shutting down, just getting to that stage and not being the one. You know what I'm saying? But I still have all of this that I have to put in it. That lack of support, which is awesome, that it's like hearing you say all that, like the support that you had, it makes me happy for you. You know what I mean? It makes me happy for you that you had it because one, you got to this place. So it's awesome that you had that to get there.
Yeah.
Your team, I see you thank your team, like your posing coach and your trainer. I see you thanking them and speaking to them all the time. Which is awesome because that's like true leadership. You know what I mean? And I feel like that true leadership, it shows in that, and it also shows in your boys and their capability to not think that mom doesn't love us because she's reaching for something of her own. You know what I'm saying? I think you show them something. I think you teach them a lot through that. You know what I mean? For me, a part of the reason why, to go back and I ain't tell the story, like when I told you on the recorder, like when I first saw you, like we had came up here to we had done a tour, an apartment tour, and went around and looked at the apartment. And I don't remember if it was 4th of July. It was like they had like an appreciation picnic that but they were like, that we're the pool's open, we're cooking out in the back, da da da. We got DJ, like, why don't you go back there? All right, cool. Let's go back there. We go back there, and I don't even know if I had a suit at the time. I don't think we planned on swimming, but in the pool, you know what I mean? They playing the music, and I look in the pool, and I was like, I saw you, and it was just like, look at it. You know what I mean? Like, you had that big floppy hat on. He was dancing. He was getting down in the damn pool, and I could see, like, I could see the physique. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, damn, she gets in there, and she ain't playing. You know what I mean? Not for nothing, because when you train, where for a woman to end up with defined shoulders, defined arms, and all that, the work is even more than a man's. You know what I mean? It's even more than a man's work. The dedication to that is even more than a man's. And it's, there's a lot of work that goes into it. Like, I know your track background plays a huge factor in your physique, but that arms, like that's all I could see, because you was in there up to your waist, so I couldn't see legs, and all I could see was arms, back. You know what I mean? I was like, damn, like she over there shining over there, like, you know what I mean? Like, everybody need to put their damn shirt on. But I also saw, like I said, I saw that, and I saw just you enjoying yourself, comfortable in that. You know what I mean? Comfortable in the strength that you obviously showed. You know what I mean? Like, and it wasn't like I said, I didn't see it as something that you showed as far as like intimidation. Like, a lot of times, like right now, I see so many people who lift, like especially a lot of women, as they lift, like, they their strength is, they like weaponizing their strength. And it's more an external thing than an internal thing, or it comes off that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when I saw you just in there enjoying yourself, good time, like you weren't looking around to see if anybody noticed you or any. It was just I don't remember what song it was. I know it was a bunch of them back to back, because it was like you ain't stopped. You know what I mean? But that was just, genuine enjoyment, and just you being you, and happy and proud in that form, and it came out. And I watched, what the reason why that meant something to me, like I watched without even knowing how strong it was, like that my mother had to be growing up, like things that I wasn't even aware of that she had to be strong, but seeing her strength in so many places, and I've seen it continue on. I've never believed in minimizing a single mother. I've never believed in minimizing anybody who works, but damn sure not a single mother. Damn sure not a mother, period. Not anybody who puts on all of these hats and performs so many roles that nobody thinks to even thank them for. You know what I mean? It becomes an expectation. Do it with grace, and they do it with poise, and they do it, you know what I mean? If it's not completely inward, if they're struggling some, you know what I mean, outward, you know what I mean, they're a rock, you know what I mean? And not that everything that the kid sees that you know they emulate it, but like I can tell like the lessons that you know what I mean that I learned from my parents based off of our kids. Your kids being able to your kids being able to stand on their own, you know what I mean, and not only see themselves, you know what I mean, not only see their own needs and their own pleasure, but want to see you reach your thing.
Yeah.
To me, that I don't know anything about their father or any of that. I know that I've seen you and observed you with them boys day in and day out for a few years now, and you know that's a heavy testament to what they're learning from you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's awesome because just like with that prep, you never know if the work that you're putting in is actually going to pay off until it
Yeah.
has to be tested. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? You never know if what you're teaching your kids is actually paying off until you're in the position for it to pay off.
Yeah.
And them not making you reaching for yours about them, and I'm sure it's a struggle. I'm sure that every now and then they may be something rises up, and especially probably more so on your side because you're wondering, what am I not, you know, am I not doing enough, or are they not feeling loved enough? But just hearing that, man, them kids love you and they know you love them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They know you love them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it's awesome to see and know that just on the outside looking in that you have prepared those boys to reach for their own greatness. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? To reach for their own greatness, and also in a position that they're able to support, genuinely support the people around them as they grow,
Yeah.
reach for theirs. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you know, I feel like if don't nobody else say that's awesome and you're doing a great job, and if you
Thank
ever end up
you.
in this place where you're wondering like, am I a good mom, am I being a good mom, right here and now, I just want you to know, man, you're doing a great job. You know what I mean?
Thank you, Khalil.
Yeah,
I
you're doing a
appreciate
great
that.
job.
I appreciate that.
Of
Uh,
course.
yeah. Speaking of their father, he came to visit a few weeks ago,
Mm.
and I told him, I said, "Hey, your dad's coming." No, it was a surprise. No, we didn't tell him. I told him like the day. Yo, yeah, I didn't end up telling him because the thing with my kids, I can't just spring stuff on them. I gotta let them know beforehand.
Mm.
I said, so your dad's coming to visit for a few days. It was like, okay, you know. So, we say we had a routine pack. I told him, say, hey, make yourself at home. You know, I say our divorce was. I'm just glad that we're at a better place now.
Right.
I'm gonna just say that we're working
Okay.
on our relationship of being co-parents, me, him, his wife, you know, everything. So he came to me one day. He said, Jammie, I said, I just want to let you know that you're doing a really good job with them. And I'm very proud of you.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, to hear him say that when I know once upon a time he wasn't so nice to me, and I wasn't nice to him. I mean, you know, but to know that we moved past that point, he's like, you know, with you working and your body, but you know, I have my, you know, we have the sunroom. I have the apartment with the sunroom, right? So I have like my trophies up and all that kind of stuff. He's like, Jammie, and all your accomplishments, you know, with your bodybuilding. He was like, you know, I knew you always, because he used to ask me. He actually, when we were married, he actually wanted me to compete. I was like, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that now.
Right. Right.
So
right.
he said, but to actually see me do it now and see see what I've accomplished,
it
meant a lot coming from him.
Yeah.
You know. So I was like, okay, I am doing a good job. Yay.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like I say, I know I'm not perfect. You know, me and my oldest one, we butt heads a lot. We're both Leos. So we tend to, I was like, Xavier, sometimes
horoscope.
Yeah. I said, you know what? Because I'll tell him something. I said, no, Xavier, sometimes it's good just to keep stuff to yourself. You know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I have to learn how to speak to him because I can't speak to him the way that I was spoken to as a child, you know, because the way that his mind works, he's on the spectrum. So I have to learn how to speak to him, let him know, hey, don't talk like that, but I can't say don't talk like that. That's the way. I had to learn how to communicate with him because when he was diagnosed, when he was 5, woo, man, every little thing would like just set him off. And I had like the worst, and I was literally on my own then. Like I was like by myself.
Yeah.
And and so what I had to do, I started watching the TV shows that he watched that he liked. So there was this one time where he got into an argument, he got upset because his little brother wanted something. It was something that Marcus wanted, his little brother. And Xavier was like, no, you can't. And I said, well, Xavier, you have to, and he would drop off at school. He had a complete meltdown. I had to get to work. So he's in the back seat just going off. And I was like, okay, Jammie, think. And I remember this I don't know, don't ask me what TV show it was. I can't remember.
Right.
But it was the similar situation.
Mm-hmm.
I said, Xavier, do you remember when such and such did so-and-so, and then so-and-so said, and I was like, he was like, oh, yeah. Fixed it just like that.
Yeah.
Just like that. So that's how I had to find that connection so he could understand how things are supposed to be.
Yeah.
He's gotten better at it now, but there was once upon a time where, like, you know how we have, like, Halloween's coming up, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they will have Halloween stuff out they would have Christmas stuff out before. He was like, it's not Christmas.
Right.
It's thanks, and he would get so upset. I'm like, well, Mom, it's not right. It's not the way. I said, Xavier, I understand, but some people, they want to get a head start. They want to start a little early to bring out, because I couldn't understand them. That's the way. That's how they want to do it. I couldn't say that to him.
Right.
But now that he's 15, he's a little bit older. I'm like, okay, now that's not gonna work. Now you 15, you know what you're supposed to.
Right.
So yeah, that was another challenge. I said with him being on a higher spectrum, it is easier for me to do what I need to do as far as like working my jobs and training and stuff, because he's at that maturity level where I don't have to worry about him not knowing what to do in an emergency situation, because that actually did happen to me once upon a time. He had to call 911 because I was I don't know what was going on with me, but I could barely talk and I was like shuddering. And I'm glad that he actually got featured. Him and some other children got featured on television.
Oh yeah.
It was called Make the Right Call. That was the name of the segment.
Yeah.
I actually taught him how to dial 911, and I have a list on this is where we live, this is who I am, this is my health conditions, because there was one time, Khalil, I was getting something off the shelf. And I slipped. I lost my balance, but I caught it. I said, let me teach this boy how to call 911.
Right.
If I fall and hurt myself.
Right.
I'm falling and I can't get up. I think it was 8 at the time. Was he 8 when it happened? 8 or 9. So yeah, so I'm very proud of my children. I say, the sooner they say, Mom, we miss you. Can you stop? Okay, I'm gonna take a break, but I'm not gonna stop.
Right.
But they're good. They fully support me. They love it. Now, can I get them to come to a show with me and actually do a competition? I don't think so, but I'm working on it.
Yeah. I got you. So, I know that you did it. You said you got your first show was 2019. What made you? And initially, I didn't actually know that. So, what made you? What changed your mind? You said your former husband tried to encourage you to get into bodybuilding, and you weren't with it.
Yeah.
So what changed your mind?
So I guess just the thrill of it, the just being like, just the fact, just being on stage. I love, I was in drama club in high school. So I always loved to be on the stage anyway.
You're
So
definitely not
just the
camera shy.
fact,
Definitely not camera shy.
no, not at all. Not at all. No, I am not. Now I will admit I was very nervous. I was very, very nervous. But I just
On
put
the
it back
stage.
on the stage. Yeah, going on stage. I was nervous. But I just told myself, Jammie, just have fun with it. Just pretend
Right.
like you're back in high school doing a stage play.
Right.
You know, for the first time I was nervous, but I killed it. I had a little bit part, but I killed it, you know? So, and that's what I did. It's, instead of me speaking or singing, I'm using my body to display my art. So that's
Right.
my talent. So
Right.
that's what I did. And first ever I did my T walk. I did I don't know if you know, I like to dance.
Mm-hmm.
Like I parade, I'm a showboat. I love it. I love it. So my first T walk routine, I did it to Megan Trainor. It's a song that she did for one of the Smurfs movie. And I made it my own little routine for that. I was like dancing, that crowd loved it. This one woman asked me, she said, "Do you do gymnastics?" I said, "No." She said, "But you did a cartwheel on stage." I was like, I was just having fun with it. But I guess you could just say I just got bit by that bug and now I'm hooked.
Yeah.
Because I truly enjoyed it. Like I said, I really didn't think I was going to like it because I knew I had to be disciplined. I had to put in the work and, you know, with the training and the eating and everything. But once I did it, I love it. It literally came natural to me. And in the beginning, I was going to be, I started off as training as a figure competitor. So the figure women and the bikini women wear the heels. You know, figure women have 4 basic poses. They have the front pose, the 2 side poses, and the back pose. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
You know. But I was having trouble with the poses. You know, I just could not. My hand was looking all crimped and everything. So yeah. So about a month and a half, I joined anytime in April. Then
Mm-hmm.
April, I joined anytime because it was getting too much for me going back and forth to the Quantico gym. And I had a consultation with Curtis. Curtis also used to compete with NPC. And had a consultation with him. He was like, "You got a show coming up?" I said, "Yes, it's May 4th." He said, and I had a tank top on. He said, and he said my upper body, that you see my upper body like this bold. He said, "Do you mind taking your shirt off?" I said, "Yeah, sure. Yeah, no problem, you know." So he says, "Turn around for me." And he took a picture of my back. When he was looking at my back, he never taken the picture. He said, "You doing figure?" I said, "You think of physique, aren't you?" He said, "Yeah, Jammie, because your back alone is a effing beast like
It
that."
really is. It really is. I was just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was looking at your social media earlier, and
Yeah.
I saw, it was like like a comparison, like before and after. And yeah. Back, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
So he asked a fellow gym member, he used to compete with NPC. He's like, "Yo, Mike, Jammie about to do a show." He said, "Oh, okay, that's what's up. That's what's up." He said, he said, "You think she could do a figure?" He said, yeah, she could do a figure. Yeah, she could do it. He said, "But it's a natural show." He said, "Oh, definitely physique." So the difference between OCB and other organizations, NPC, I'm not knocking NPC, I'm not knocking any organization at all, but OCB is 100 complete percent natural.
Mm-hmm.
They don't allow steroids, they don't allow diuretics, they don't allow any kind of illegal muscle enhancing injectors. Not that, like, you could take your supplements and all that kind of stuff,
Right.
your natural supplements, but that's it, because we take a polygraph before the show.
Oh,
We check in. Yeah,
Damn.
we take a polygraph, and if we fail the polygraph, we cannot compete. And
Wow.
then when you
So,
place top 3, we gotta provide a urine sample. So then that's how I knew. And also my first trainer, I asked him, I said, "What about NBC?" He said, "No, they juice, which means they allow steroid usage." So I said, "Okay, I ain't about to do that. I don't want to sound like this." So
right,
like, I don't want to look the part either. So
right.
that's one thing that sets OCB off the map, is like we are 100% natural. Every athlete that you see from Arizona to Florida to the DMV up to Maine and Pennsylvania, we all 100%. So we work harder for
Well, I
our
say that,
physique.
yeah, that's there.
Yeah.
I didn't see.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that about you, but the exclude, like that being across the board and
Yeah.
that level of like making sure, like you
Yeah.
might be good, but you gonna beat that daggone polygraph, and then you gonna get
Yeah.
that good. Yeah, yeah,
Yep, they
that's
will, and they will, and OCB, because of the rules, we can only compete with other. It's 4 other organizations. Excuse me. It's 4 other organizations that we can compete with because they follow the same guidelines
right.
as OCB. And if I go outside of the organization, I could lose my pro status, and I'm not willing to do that. Even though I know I'm natural, even though I know I'm not going to take nothing, it's just the fact that I'm competing with an organization that doesn't follow the same guidelines as OCB, and I'm
Right,
not willing to risk that. So
right.
no,
So it sounds like they're committed to maintaining the integrity
they're 100%
across
natural.
the
Yeah.
board. Yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
awesome. That's
Yep.
awesome because I guess even if you were to step out of it, then you kind of give yourself the possibility, and then you come back, and the edge, it evens the playing field. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
like even stepping outside of it, the edge that you might get from kind of dallying a little bit and then coming
Yeah.
back,
Mm-hmm.
I get that. That's awesome. That's really cool. That's honestly really
Yep.
cool. That just means that work is even more. You know what I mean?
It's
That's
even more.
awesome.
That's like we have to work twice. So we can't cheat. So
Right.
we gotta work twice as hard to get.
Right. Awesome. That's awesome. I'm sure it's rough as hell, but I mean, like it's like I said, it's character building. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's there's nothing wrong with acknowledging the limitation. To me, like I think you do yourself a discredit from not acknowledging the limitations that you fight through to get to the thing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
all of those things, like the having to stay natural with it, that strictness, that discipline, like it's it's necessary because it all drives you, and
Yeah.
it all kind of keeps you centered, and it gives you like that ability to go, yeah, I got this is my accolade. On top of that, to get through that, I had to step. Like, I was even further behind. Like not to say, you know what I mean. Like you're further behind somebody who has the opportunity to enhance their physique. You know what I mean? Like so to
Mm-hmm.
get to that place, you're at a further starting place. The help along the way is not as much. So it's all work. It's all work. It's all discipline. It's all dedication. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
you're tough as hell, man. You tough as hell, James. For real.
It is.
Tough
It
as
is.
you.
It's not
No,
for
no, no,
everybody.
not it
It's
is. You are. You are.
oh, me.
You
Oh,
are.
thank you.
Yeah, you are tough as hell. Yeah, you are tough as hell. And that was why, yeah,
Thank
see,
you.
like I said, what I was hoping was that when we had this conversation, I would learn something. I would learn more. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
you tough as hell, man. Definitely tough as hell. And
Thank you.
that's awesome. You know what I mean? And I feel like, man, anywhere it sets you up to be like, I'm excited to see what your boys become because they have you. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
For real.
Yeah.
For real. I'm excited to see
That's
what
what's
they
up.
become because they have you. You know what I mean? You kind of like, that example of, you know, even if they don't understand, I know that like I said, just from certain things, it translates to the way that you're a mother, and it sets a standard for what they will allow. You know what I mean, and what they're gonna look for. You know what I
Yeah.
mean. Um, there's no way to see as much strength, and on their part, and I know it's going to translate because they're not anti it, they're supportive of it. To see as much strength and toughness and discipline and purposeful sacrifice is kind of the word that I've started using when I think about it.
Okay.
In you as a mother and a woman, and that not translate to the things that they want when they look for a mother and a woman. You know what I'm saying? A mother
Mhm.
and a
Yeah.
partner. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's a recipe for success because on their end, they're gonna have a dream. They're gonna have a goal. They're gonna have something that they're gonna put their time and effort into. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
And having somebody who understands that, well, reaching for that and that being like the standard that you look for is gonna support them. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It's gonna
Yeah.
support them in their ability to keep driving that dream.
Hmm.
And so, you know, it just excites me. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's cool.
It really does. It really does, man. And it's your fault. So I guess you know, the reason why I wanted to ask all the questions is I see you now in the product of, you know what I mean, just seeing the product of the work, whether it's the physical product or even, you know, life does things that do its best to take away our smile. You know what I mean? Our
Hmm.
ability to do that. And I don't believe it's done that to you. I have no idea what every moment of life has been, but I know it hasn't been easy. But
Hmm.
that I mean, I don't make it a habit to have like regular conversations with people. It ain't like I'm somebody special, but I try my best to protect my own smile, my own heart, because life ain't been easy for me. And
Right.
I try to make sure that the people that I talk to are people who have goodness in them, you know what I mean, who have strength in them, resilience in them, and positivity in them, because you got to carry that with you because it's not to be expected and it's nowhere. So I've recognized that just talking to you and just watching you move and seeing how you interact with the dogs and everything like before, you know what I mean, since I've known
Hmm.
you. Being at this place where, you know, you went through a good amount of life and you still got a good amount of life ahead of you. Um, what's something that you think that like that you've learned that maybe you maybe not that you see it lacking, but that like if that you want other people to know, like if because there's no way to think that like, you know, to me, like getting up on that stage, you're showing somebody something, you're teaching somebody something.
Hmm.
Being a mother, you're showing somebody something, you're teaching somebody something. Being a trainer, you're showing somebody something and you're teaching somebody something. um what is it like, what's something that you feel like the world needs or people need to preserve themselves, like to not lose to the struggles? Like, what do you? Maybe I'm not asking the question, but like I feel like I said, I feel like there's too much. We're not embracing the tough thing, knowing that that's the things that we need. So, like, what do you think that like? What would you, if you would advise yourself? Maybe let's put it like that. If you were to see yourself coming up, and maybe you're not as, you know, or maybe you are. You're looking at yourself as a teenager and you're knowing that life is going to come at you the way that life is going to come at you. What do you tell that girl? What do you tell that person?
I would tell her to, honestly, guard her heart.
Okay.
Everybody is not your friend. Everyone will not like you, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
continue being yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Continue to do what you want to do that's best for you. And always put God first.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because I've learned along the way, I say everybody's not your friend. Don't be so quick to put all your eggs in one basket, especially with relationships. I'm gonna put that out there, because me as a person, I love hard and I love fast. And I typically end up getting it backfiring on me. But that's just how I am. That's just
Right.
that's just me. But I also have to I also have to focus on me. Like I have to be a little selfish sometimes, because when something starts affecting me and what I love to do, it's time to leave that alone. Like, nah, we ain't doing that. But but I mean, there are some people that are truly genuine. Just I say, just guard your heart and just guard your heart and watch your back.
Right. I feel like
Yep.
I feel like when I've talked to a friend of mine, well, even like just in general with relationships, period. So when I speak of relationships, like there being all type of levels of relationships, but in that place when I was talking about, and honestly saying it's like talking about the same thing, like guarding your heart, guarding your smile. I think that when it comes to people, there's not enough of like what's gotten me through life and has served me well with life. And like when I was younger, my dad used to talk about like, you know what I mean, picking my friends and, like actually picking my friends. When you're in school, you kind of have this like automatically built friend set that like, you go there, they're friends, you're in the same classes, you got those things in common. It's really not that hard to nurture those friendships because you're there. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, it's, that proximity is there. But then you know, when you're not in that place and you're grown, then you really learn about how to make and choose friends and choose relationships. And my dad did a whole lot of like talking to the futures. I mean, to the future. He did a whole lot of speaking about the fact that the future is gonna come. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? And at the time when I was younger, it's like, yeah, all right, you know what I mean? I heard you. Like he poured a lot into me. You know what I mean? He poured a lot of knowledge and put me, whether it was like directly like stuff he said to me, or he took me around all different kinds of people, all different kinds of men, you know what I mean, of all ranges of life, like from 4-star generals to day laborers. Like he took me around all type of people to gain a lot of perspective and, see how people interacted, how he interacted, all type of stuff. And he was always talking to me about like picking my friends and like recognizing that just because the people are around and we happen to have a couple things in common, that doesn't necessarily make them my friend. And I don't know, if I don't take the time to know them and I just classify them with this name, with this label of friend, that I may be setting myself up for failure. You know what I mean? Like without actually having a true definition of what I'm expecting from a friend and what I'm expecting out of a relationship, and kind of like what it ended up, I was blessed that when I was younger, I grew up in an area and at a school that like made loving each other and recognizing each other's humanity like literally a point. Like the school song was about like how we all come from different areas of the world. You know what I mean? We're all people. Like, you know what I mean? It was all about like one. We were the first school first public school in the area. I don't even know if any other public school does it now, but first public school in the area to wear uniforms. Like,
Oh wow.
It started as like an optional thing, and then it was a recommended thing, and then it just became the thing of the school. You know what I mean? Like, but that was their whole thing was like not seeing yourself as better because of it. You know what I mean? Like taking that away, like that wasn't, golden rule, like that type of stuff was enforced. Like, you know what I mean? Like the way that you treated your fellow student, it was enforced in that. And I was lucky to kind of just like that the kids that I was around we were taught that in school and in the home. So like it was like, yeah, I hear you, but I don't really see why I need to be that careful with the people that I'm choosing to be friends with because, you know what I mean? But as I got older, I ended up needing those skills and I needed those lessons. And one of the things that I found that served me was that I started sitting back and watching people and learning how they responded to certain situations. If they were putting them more often than not, how would they respond? And then from there, I could paint a picture of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's not necessarily how we always do it. We kind of, we don't want to we want that connection. So we kind of like get into it fast. You know what I mean? Or the qualifiers aren't always how does this person treat people? You know what I mean? It's how do I feel in this moment? And then we learn like how this person treats people. And those can be, they're always learning experiences, but what we do with it after is like the meaning that it has. You know what I mean? Not necessarily what happens to us, but the meaning that it has and the and what we do with it from there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because as if I can get in your business, as much as you feel like you need to guard your heart, I feel like you still in that, you are in that, or if you find that right love, you want that right love.
Right.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I mean? Like I absolutely agree with we have to protect. I feel like we have to protect our hearts because I feel like with with the point of discipline and everything that comes from it is understanding that it's not only about us, that we're here to serve. And if we find things that we enjoy and that we love and that nourish our soul, and if we protect our inner goodness, our love, our capability to love, and it gives us a chance to be able to serve better, to be able to serve wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Going all the way back to that, to I don't know if you said she was your recruiter, but something along the line, she did not. I would assume that she didn't protect her. She didn't protect herself. She didn't guard her heart to where eventually that became damaged to where she wasn't able to serve. It didn't serve her or you to be in that position of power, but to have that level of pettiness and insecurity play out on you. You know what I mean? So like I just say that because like when I feel like I hear it and I just want to be clear and see that if we agree on it, but like I don't think that you would want to guard yourself against opportunity to be anti. You want to guard yourself against the things that could take away from how strong a love you can have. You know, because you if you don't guard against it, your capability to do it becomes less and less, or it changes and it becomes less true, and you have more walls that you put up against it. So you know what I mean. I feel like when I look at it, like I guard myself, and I want to guard myself because I want to be able to give. I want to be able to see somebody's success and win, and be genuinely happy for them. You know what I mean? So I guard my own self-conscious and my own self-confidence, my own self-worth, because that means that I can love what you got for yourself, and my lack of whatever has nothing to do with it. That's not true friendship. True friendship, it gives me an opportunity to be true. If I can be proud of the things that I have and the things that I'm capable of, I can genuinely be happy for you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I can genuinely be happy for you. And I think that, like, you know, like I said, it goes back in the full circle where I end up repeating myself. I think that you're doing a great job at that because you put that in your boys. I
Thank you.
see, I see, I see kids. I used to do catering on boats for like teenagers, like middle schoolers and stuff
Yeah.
like.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw kids who. That's why I'm like surprised. Like I'm surprised and pleased, and like I kind of have like, well, I don't see your parents, but they need a thumbs up when like I see kids and they got manners and
Mm-hmm.
they say thank you and they're not selfish and they hold doors for people and they're, you know
Yep.
what I mean, like, you know, I I see that stuff and a lot of times like and I see the lack of it, you know what I mean, which is the reason why it stands out so much more when I see it. You know what I mean? When I see that good, like that intentional parenting, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That it shows a knowledge and an awareness and true love in the fact that you love your kids enough to know that they're not always going to be your boys sitting under mama. You know what I'm saying? At
Mm-hmm.
some point, they're going to be out in that world and they're going to need these things. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um,
Mm-hmm.
so, see, I'm just thinking it's necessary for that. You would tell that girl that guard yourself, protect your heart, and protect your love. And I feel like it's that because you got to protect that stuff because you're going to, you know, a bodybuilding competition is a accepted struggle and period of sacrifice. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but every struggle and period of sacrifice isn't. Maybe I should have said chosen. Maybe I said
Yeah.
it's chosen
Mm-hmm.
period. You know what I mean? But everyone isn't a choice.
Right.
But I tell my clients all the time when I train them, it's like just like in life, your son being able to call 911 when the time comes, you build the muscle to lift the weight. You know,
Yep.
build the
Mm-hmm.
muscle to lift the weight. So, you know, you build the strength to lift the weight, you build the energy to keep going, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So with that, I guess my question is, what's next? Because I know at this moment, we're not stopping bodybuilding. You know,
No.
not stopping that. That ain't there's no end of that in sight. You know what I mean? So what's next for
Um, you mean as far as everything or just with the bodybuilding?
I mean, in general. In
In
general.
general, well, like I say, I got these new duties at my job. I'm trying to get that in, trying to become a SME, a subject matter expert and all that. I'm still trying to grow within my organization, so I'm studying to become a judge, so I can start judging shows.
Okay.
And my clientele is building here in the gym, so you know that's good. So I'm gonna just keep going, keep
Yeah.
pushing, keep pulling, and keep praying.
So with bodybuilding,
hmm
what you got your eyes on?
So next year there
Okay.
are a couple of shows I have my eyes on. I'm not going to disclose that information because you
Okay.
know we gonna gotta keep that
I got you.
under the table, you
I
know.
got you.
But there are a couple of shows I see in sight that
Mm,
I'm starting prepping for. So yep. So
I
that's
got
what
you.
that's what's next for 2023. Because a lot of people ask me, Jamie, when you gonna be back on stage? When you see me, that's
When
when
you
you that's
see me.
when you see me.
When you
Yep.
see me. Got you.
When you see, because like I said, OCB is a family, but everybody is not your friend.
Right.
So,
Right.
yep. Because it is a competition.
Absolutely.
We are competitors against each other. So, yep.
I got you. I don't wanna push or try to break any secrets out, you know what I mean? But definitely still pushing forward with your bodybuilder, definitely still
Yeah.
trying to raise the hand at the end.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yep. For sure.
Well,
For sure.
well, I'm gonna let you go, man. I definitely appreciate you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Anytime.
Definitely
This was
appreciate you.
fun. I enjoyed this.
I enjoyed it too, man.
Yep.
Enjoyed it too. So